call our meeting back to order, and at this time we will hear from New Hanover High School.
The original signature program.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much. I'm sorry to be the last one holding you up here tonight.
No, you're not holding.
But I'm very
us up.
passionate about sharing the parts of the Lyceum with you. The Lyceum Academy, we sent this to you, so I won't go through and read each of these because you got them via the PDF of the principles and beliefs. But much like the IB Academy, we have a lot of different principles and beliefs as well that were the foundation of this building a community of learners, going outside the box, creating unanxious expectations, a lot of the different things, the integrated curriculum, etc., and teaching to the multiple intelligences, and really to create a set of lifelong learners that will continue this process forever. So with that being said, we also embraced at the time of this conception the Coalition of Essential Schools material and incorporated many of those. Less is more, that the teacher is a coach instead of a sage on the stage, etc. So many of the things that they shared earlier with you with the IB philosophy has been our philosophy all along as well, and that has its foundation in a lot of these education reforms. So the Lyceum Academy is a 2-year program that's actually a school within a school. So we start an hour earlier than the main New Hanover High School does. We do that so that we have 4 uninterrupted hours of instruction. All of the courses within the Lyceum are taught in a year-long format, whether they're at the honors or the AP level, and each of our courses are either at an honors or an AP level. We have an integrated curriculum, so one of the main differences between us and all the others is not only are we teaching the honors in the AP courses, but we're doing them in an interdisciplinary manner. One of the examples that I always use is when we are studying United States history, and United States history is our timeline that drives our curriculum, our junior year. When we're studying World War II in the U.S. history curriculum, we're also on the literature in the English course of the Holocaust and of that time period. And in the biology area, I'm incorporating genetics because the beginning of our genetics research, good or bad, was from some of the scientists working for Adolf Hitler. And using a lot of the eugenics research from the United States, actually, in that early research. So we are trying to show a cross-curricular connection, and that these subjects are not isolated into compartments as our traditional high school does, just from a management standpoint. We try to mix it up just a bit. We do a lot of projects within the program, so that we're looking for mastery demonstration, and we'll talk more about that on the assessment slide. And we cut out homeroom because homeroom was incorporated into our day. We assume all the responsibility for these students, even beyond homeroom, even as a mentor and coach and counselor, even though through the generosity of the administration over the years, we have acquired a counselor that is dedicated to the Lyceum students now as well to help through the college application process. As we said earlier, we have that 4 continuous hours. After the Lyceum day is over and we end at the end of the 2nd block time frame, then they are free to take 3rd block or 4th block elective courses out in the main school. As a part of that, we offer a course called recitation, much like a college recitation. The hours in the afternoon, 3rd block and 4th block, we have students assigned to us again, where we are able to do one-on-one tutoring, mentoring, we can do remediation. This allows us to take the rigor and the demands of taking up to 4 AP courses simultaneously for a whole year and additional electives. We're able to allow that to be accomplished via the recitation session and the additional help. This eliminates for many the need for outside tutoring, which a lot of students have to do in the main school. Group planning and individual planning unfortunately occurs after school because we have students assigned to us from 7:30 in the morning until 3:30 every day. So there is no planning time for any of the Lyceum faculty within the designated school day. One of the true hallmarks of the program is the flexibility of the scheduling. Every day, the faculty decides how the day will be structured. This is a traditional calendar where, if you notice, there's a combination of letters out to the side, numbers out to the side. The numbers are the order that the course is met in for that particular day on January 12th. There are also Greek letters beneath each of the subjects, and students are subdivided into Greek letters, and they follow their Greek letter through the matrix each and every day. They do not know what order their courses are in until they arrive at 7:15 in the morning for that particular day. Now, this has accomplished many things. Homework is now done at home, and second period's homework is not done during the end of first period, etc. So homework is truly done at home.
It's homework.
And that is a learning curve that many students and parents have to go through when we start the program, because they find out that it really has to be done at home because they don't know what order it is in the next day. Another reason we do that is because of keeping it new every day. We want every day to be new and exciting and different within the program, which leads us to the next slide, where some days we have to test because we're all going to be bound by those EOCs and the AP tests at the end of the year. So we incorporate the testing along the way, but when we do our testing, it's done the first hour with everyone in that subject, so there's no more cheating, no more sharing what's on the test because they took it later in the day. Everyone tests during the first hour of the day. The school is more quiet during the first hour also, and so we end when the school takes in for the regular session. The next slide shows more flexibility. This is where we had an English and history project going on for the first 2 hours in the large seminar room of Lyceum, where in the background, these math and science courses were just having their normal 1 hour each rotation. And then at our break period, which was halfway through, we were able to switch and do some other, switch groups and do other things. We also, on this one, it's a double-edged sword slide that I've got a bunch of things into one. We also have opportunities where this particular seminar schedule that's a Wednesday at top and Thursday at the bottom. So that English and history project was actually a 4-hour seminar that went on, and those other classes on the right side were 2 hours each. So over the course of these 2 days, we were able to meet all the courses, and we had the same amount of instructional time overall. We just lengthened it to accommodate the lessons that we were trying to deliver on those particular days. From a selfish standpoint, as a science teacher, being able to set up a lab, explain the lab, do the lab, clean it up, and talk about it all in one setting was the best thing ever. And the English teachers quickly thought, oh, well, I can do a whole writing workshop seminar. And then the history teacher goes, oh, I can show a film and actually have a meaningful discussion immediately after the film. So these extended days really have helped us out curriculum-wise. This is another version, just another creative way where we just did 3 rotations. The junior year, the curriculum is, as you see it, United States history is the driving force. We take a look at ourselves and who we are as Americans as the focus of our junior year curriculum. For the senior year, we focus on our place within the global society. So we look out, and environmental science tends to be the driving force for the curriculum the senior year. For assessment, again, we're asking them to demonstrate mastery, utilize higher level thinking skills, and offer evidence through the traditional testing, portfolios, oral presentations, etc. One of our example projects is on the next slide. This is a midterm project we've used frequently. We asked them in a 5-minute oral biography we give them a name, a death date, a death place, a birth date, birthplace, and we ask them to create a historically accurate life for this fictional character, demonstrating mastery of their choice of the things that they have mastered thus far in their junior year of their curricular subjects. And you can see some of the requirements they have to fulfill in that. That has been one of the most rewarding pieces for us to sit back, and every single student comes in before a panel, and just like I'm presenting here, that you would be the panel, and they do their presentation and field questions to be able to assess their mastery for their midterm area going through the year. Hands-on experiential learning is another calling card of the program. We believe the world is our classroom, so we're out in it often, looking and seeing and touching and doing, as the namesake of the program was with Aristotle's original Lyceum. Our hallmark experiences on the next slide include Washington, D.C. This is an actual picture from Obama's inauguration. We were in the crowd. Actually, one of the photos, I don't have it on here, was us holding up the camera. One of our students actually had the WECT official camera doing a live broadcast with the reporter on the ground, but we had a student on top of another student's shoulders above the crowd filming for live WECT feed-in on their news, which was really unique being there. Marine Lab, we're there for 8 days during spring break each year. We took the Marine Science Academy with us and introduced them to it, and now we and the Marine Science Academy both travel to Marine Lab during spring break. And sometimes Sandy and I we travel together if space permits. This year, we took 110 people in the current junior lyceum with chaperones that are required per the boat liability limits. So we had 2 maxed out charter buses, so Ms. Soselsky took the Marine Science Academy after we left because we booked the entire place up while we were there. But we share spring break so that we go in the beginning and she goes at the end when that conflict arises. Next year, we have a smaller enrollment number, and with her enrollment numbers, I think we're going to be able to travel together again and share expenses to cooperate, as we've done on several things with the other academies, actually. Appalachian Field Study is an environmental science trip for the beginning of the senior year, and then we also offer a scuba camp so that they can participate as a snorkeler or a diver when they're in the Florida Keys at Marine Lab. Other experiential learning opportunities include the Arizona Field Studies, which we took a group out this spring as well. Atlanta cultural trip. This was at the very unique Shakespeare Theater in Atlanta. If you've never been, I highly suggest it. It looks like it's in the most horrible part of town, but it's downstairs, and it's a total recreation of a Shakespeare-like environment, including the food at the time period. And then we've done a cultural trip to New York City because that was probably the cheapest flight I've ever had. We got round-trip airfare out of Myrtle Beach on Spirit Airlines for $32 a person. So we couldn't pass it up. We booked a group and took them to, the English teacher took them. For our community, creating a sense of community is one of the big premises, and we do that via a fall retreat. This is a high ropes course picture over to the right with one of our students on that at camp, not Thunderbird, but the, it's next to Don Lee. It's the coastal equivalent of Thunderbird, but it's next, anyway, it's in Arapahoe. Which one? Seagull, thank you. Seagull and Seafarer. Then our Lyceum space, we are isolated in a wing behind Brogdon Hall, one whole wing of the building, because we have a space for when we enter students as juniors, they stay with those same teachers. The teachers loop with them over a 2-year time period, which helps us accomplish a lot with the senior curriculum, because in this downtime after AP testing in the junior year, we're able to start the senior curriculum so we don't lose time. We're able to actually put time back in our school year so that we're not being penalized by the school calendar that the legislature decided. On the beyond academics, part of our communication tool is Edline, a service we've been using for years. This is where the faculty, the parents, and the students all have access to their class pages and their grades, all incorporated into one program. And we've been working with this for a long time. It's sort of like Power School, but has more information on it for the parents and the students. And it's our #1 communication tool. There's a link on every page where it says questions and comments directly to that teacher. And the students really do use this a lot. Success stories. Of course, New Hanover High School has been ranked in the top 1,000 best high schools by Newsweek repeatedly since the early 2000s. We've had a lot of major universities that come to us specifically to speak to Lyceum and then to New Hanover High School as different cohorts and different audiences during the day. We've had several Park Scholars, Moorhead Scholars, Gordon Scholars, Naval Academy, West Point. This year I'm proud to say that we have a Moorhead Scholar, Cecilia Beard, this year as a member of our graduating class. This is our 17th graduating class from the Lyceum Academy at New Hanover as well. We have a Garin Brandt, a Goodnight Scholar, we have a Killian Scholar, and we have one of the scholarship, it's a trustee scholarship given by the University of Southern California to the top 1% of their applicants. To date, we are still gathering information of our scholarships, but to date, the 73 seniors in Lyceum Academy this year have been offered over $4 million in scholarship money, and we've accepted over $1 million so far in that. And this is just from about 16 of our 73 current seniors that have reported thus far. Some of the letters that we've received back, I hope they're in your packet where you can really read through those. But Leslie Small had some very kind things to say. He became one of Congressman Lewis's right-hand people in his office and worked there for years. He's since moved on from Congressman Lewis's office, however. This was a letter from a parent who had 2 daughters to go through the program, was very kind in what she had to say about it as well. Eligibility, any student who wants an alternative to a traditional classroom, that's us. We do things differently. We mix the schedule up every day. We teach in an interdisciplinary manner. We go out in the world to see, feel, touch, and do things. And there's not a lot of prerequisites necessary to get into the program. We just want them to have completed these courses before we go in so that they're eligible to move forward through those advanced placement courses, because we do push them to go beyond where they think they can go in each of those academic areas. One of the misnomers is that it's exclusively for academically gifted, but that is definitely not the case. One of the individuals that I like to use an example, he was ranked 232 out of a class of 450. He came to an interview where he had long hair down below his shoulders. He didn't dress up for his interview, and we have most students show up in like ties and dresses and everything. He didn't dress up at all. He came with a ponytail out of this side of his head and a ponytail out of this side of his head like a poodle, and we thought he was making a mockery of the whole thing. I sat down and they went, "You're interviewing him." So I went in, sat down, had a great conversation with this young man. He convinced me he was truly bored with traditional high school, and that's why he had a C/D average thus far. So we let him in. He wanted to register for all AP classes. I had told him that I really liked my job and that would be negligent given his historic marks, but I'd make a deal. Prove it to me. Prove to me you have the ability and that you were just really bored. So I told him every course he had higher, that he had an A in, after 4 weeks, that we would move him to the advanced placement level of that course if we offered it within the program. He took every AP course that we offered over the 2-year time period, and he made 4s and 5s on every single AP course he ever took. He was truly bored. So we're not going to exclude people based on just GPA. We've never used that as a deciding factor. It's one of the factors we look at, just like anybody would, but it's not a deciding factor. The interview is a major component of it, which is talked about here. The application we have up year-round online, interview, then we go through a course registration for those that are accepted, and we are currently still accepting applications, and we always accept applications until our slots are filled. We have a maximum of 100. We tried more than 100. It did not work. The program is ideally written for 80. That's when we do our best work, is with 80 students' responsibility at the AP level for any teacher. Any questions?
Gordon, you mentioned you're gonna have fewer students next year.
Yes, ma'am. We have the smallest class at New Hanover High School that's currently eligible to apply. They apply as sophomores, and they're the smallest group of students at New Hanover. We traditionally have in Lyceum between 21 and 23% of any sitting class in the program, and we currently have 20%, but it is a smaller number because it's a smaller class. We have currently extended invitations, and 60 have accepted, but we extended invitations to only 70 at the moment.
And I will say, when you and your staff went to the state school board conference, it was standing room only when they read the write-up and wanted to hear about the Lyceum program.
And thank you for the ability to go and share that. That was very nice, the board.
Of your students, do you know what percentage or what number would be students that normally would not be assigned at New Hanover High School?
It's really hard to tell because many of our students, because of our curriculum tracking, is a little bit different from some of the other high schools. A lot of our students transfer over as freshmen, so we lose that identity after they've been there for a couple years. I'm sure we could pull it out through Denise Angivine's office, but I do not know off the top of my head because they've always been at Hanover, and I know them from being a student there for the first 2 years. We do have quite a few from Cape Fear Academy. That enrollment from Cape Fear has gone up steadily with them jumping ship. I guess the economics have a little bit to do with that. But they're coming over to the free college preparatory academy.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'd just like to simply say, as a parent who has had 2 children, I say 2.5, but anyway, 2 children, well, one of them only went through 1 year. I've had 2 children go through Lyceum. It is an outstanding program. It truly prepared my 2 girls for college. I tell the story, when my daughter got to UNC Charlotte, they put her in a junior sophomore English class. And the assignment was that they had to write an argumentative paper. And they gave them the topics. My daughter went home or went out, wrote the paper, came back in, turned it in. Next class meeting, the teacher called her out by name, and she thought, oh God, what have I done now? Had her come down to the front of the class. Now this is juniors and sophomores, and my daughter was a freshman, and had her read her paper as an example of a qualified argumentative paper at UNC Charlotte. So clearly, y'all have we're doing an outstanding job, and I trust you still are.
Thank you very much. Many of our students do enter college at this point with enough AP credits via the pre-Lyceum curriculum and the Lyceum curriculum to qualify for sophomore status at this point. The majority of our students do that.
And Mr. Bullard can testify to that as well, can you?
Yes, all 3 of my boys went through the Lyceum program and enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Worth the wait.
Yeah. Okay, next item on the agenda, item B is the board center with my name there. What I wanted to do was take just a minute, and we won't take just a minute, to share this with the board. Some of you are aware, some of you are not aware, but some time now, I expressed an interest in, along with Mrs. Nichols, a year or so ago. If you ever go to Cape Fear Hospital or New Hanover Memorial Hospital, you see the mounted, framed, what do you call them? Murals along the walls there. Of course, me being an old history teacher, this is something that has appealed to me for quite some time. I've wanted to do a history of the New Hanover County school system and have it on display. And we've talked about, that's what I wanted to throw out tonight so everyone can be thinking about it. Various things we could do in here and also concentrating on the foyer as you come in. How to use that space out there. We've talked with, who is Arts, I can't think my name.
Tim McCoy.
Yeah, Mr. McCoy. And we've also talked with an art teacher at Wrightsboro School who's working on some ideas. So I just wanted to make the board aware of it, be thinking about it, anything that you can think of that you would like to see, because I would just like for it to reflect the history of our school system, maybe have some cases with some different artifacts, books, things of that nature, about the school, about education in general. And that's all I want to do is throw it out. Ms. Nichols, anything you want to add to that?
No, I just want us to get it done and do it right and preserve, we have history dating back to 1800s for the school system, so we want to show it off.
Ms. Jackson, no, we hadn't,
Pardon?
what?
Oh, come
But
on
that's
now.
why you have Ms. Jackson and me.
Yeah.
We fill in the blanks, right? Okay, so just be thinking about it, and we'll share more with you later on that, and, because I would like to have everyone's input, and, you know, as to how we can do that.
Yes. Creative
Yeah.
thoughts.
Okay, next item, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, we are adjourned.